Hi everyone, I want to read some of my book, The Choreographer. You know, one of the scenes that really just takes my breath away. I was hurt even more that never during the time I was coaching was there a step spectacular, but the year I was kicked off, they had one. I took it personal because I knew they only created it so they could list Jasmine as a founder to make me angrier, because they knew I would attend, just like I did other performances, to support some of my other friends. Mr. and Mrs. McGruder. They are a trip in this book, The Choreographer. They are so bitter. They're just very bitter old people. I mean, Shona Jackson creates the step team. She founds it alone. And these two people who come along her junior year decide to list someone else as a founder along with Shona. So this scene is just so striking because Shona had got kicked off the team, and she had a lot going on. There was so many things going on in her life, and her mom worked at the school. She had just crazy things. It was her senior year when she got kicked off. So she founded the team her freshman year, and then she got kicked off her senior year. Senior year, mom starts working at the school, so she can't get a break from her mom and gets on her nerves. Then she wants to, go to college and get things done, and then she decides to allow the McGruders to be their advisors. Well, she had to ask them junior year, and they said yes. And then senior year, they just do something downright just ugly, period. And, this particular scene, I'm just like, why in the world would someone be so angry, no matter what Shona did at the rehearsals? Why would you do that to Ann High School in general? I mean, this is a step team, this is a high school, so this could potentially, as it's recorded in the school history, this could reach all types of places in the world, and Mr. and Mrs. McGruder want to lie about who started this team. Ann High School in New Orleans, this part of New Orleans, these two old bitter people would get so angry at a 17-year-old that they would lie to basically the whole world about who started this amazing team. And Jasmine Pent, she did not help start this team. Only Shona did. So this scene, it strikes me like Shona's 35 years old telling this story. And she's telling it she's saying things, she starts talking about the past and when she was in high school, when she was 17, and she got kicked off the team she started. And I'm just like, when I read about the McGruders, and how they knew certain things going on in Shona's life, when I read about them knowing some of the things that she was dealing with, her mom working in the school, her friends being in the office, and saying, Shona and her mom are going through things. It was just crazy to know that two people trusted by the school and by the one founder, Shona Jackson, would lie and say that someone else founded the team. Now, it's one thing to, be angry. She was bitter at practice, or she wouldn't do certain things at practice, but it's another thing to lie to the whole world about who started this team. I'm like, why wouldn't even one of you tell the other, like, okay, she started this team, this girl might go crazy, right? So we don't want her to go crazy. We don't want to take that chance because we care about the other members. We don't want to give them any memories that they don't want, right? So, it's so many things. And if the McGruders had cared about anybody else on that team, I'm sure they wouldn't have kicked Shona off the team. Now, Shona went crazy, but the thing, when Shona got kicked off the team, she lost her mind. She wanted revenge on them. It wasn't about, she wanted revenge on the McGruders, but it wasn't about, the team in general. What could I do, to get the McGruders back? What could Shona do? What could Shona do to get the McGruders back was her whole thought process, right? So Shona gets revenge on them, and what Shona learns is that revenge experience, she needed it because she didn't know that she could black out like that. So she was on the step team, she was on it for 3 years, but she knew that she needed that experience because she could be in so much trouble when she got older. She's 35 telling the story. She's like, man, if I didn't go through what I went through in high school with those 2 people, she like, I'm so glad I met them just for that reason alone. She's like, Shauna's like, I'm not even thinking about stuff. I'm thinking about the fact that I needed that life experience, she's thinking about the fact that she needed that life experience, right? So that when she got older, she didn't make the same mistake. But it's just, this one scene really struck me because one thing you don't do is disrespect the whole school. So Mr. and Mrs. McGruder, Miss McGruder, who worked at the school and high school in New Orleans, this part of New Orleans, Miss McGruder, I mean, it's just shameful to know that she would put in the books that Shona Jackson was not the only founder. She would say that Jasmine Pent helped her found this team, but Jasmine Pent was only a tag-along, a follower. And Shona was the only one who started that team. So it just was that's just a scene that struck me completely while I was writing this book. It was very heartbreaking, to know that, the McGruders will lie to the whole school. But the big deal is, the main thing is that Shona was able to go through something that she could take with her the rest of her life, because she didn't want to act crazy like that when she was of age, when she was grown as hell, She didn't want to do anything crazy like that to ruin her life. She's so happy that she started that team. And, it was great the first 3 years that she was on it. However, she went through something her senior year, and she was able to learn an even bigger, thing. So founding the team alone and coaching it, Shona, she learned a lot. She grew a lot. She was able to manage 9th through 12th grade as a freshman. And then when Shona became a senior and made that mistake, I don't want to spoil the book too much, but when Shona became a senior and did what she did to the McGruders, she was happy for that experience because she took it with her the rest of, as all up to date, in the book. So she took it with her. Shona's still breathing. So the Choreographer is definitely a great book to read. Shona goes through so many things. Greek life is amazing to read about. It's a great book. One of the scenes, the thing that's striking, let me say that, the striking thing about Mr. and Mrs. McGruder is that they would lie and say that Jasmine Pent was a founder. So everyone Shona's freshman and sophomore year who were there, they know Shona Jackson was the only founder of Ann High School step team, not Jasmine Pent at all. So, it's like one of those investigative movies, right? Where people are searching around for the truth, right? They're just searching and asking all types of questions. You're like, wait a minute, I was there. I knew Shona Jackson started that alone. So what you mean, come her senior year, somebody else founded it just because she's not on the team. She got kicked off or whatever, but I'm not crazy. They like, we was there. We know she started that team alone. Even junior year when she was there as a junior, there was still no question. So why not if she's a senior? So now Mr. and Mrs. McGruder, they so freaking bitter and old that, and they're hurt by Shona because clearly Shona has talent and can found a team in this part of New Orleans at Ann High School, can found that team. Clearly they don't want her to go, all 4 years with that on her back. They don't want her to get older and have that with her, even though Shona went on and coached 5 years of college, But the thing is, Ann High School was not a project. Ann High School was not supposed to be an investigative report. First off, it's shameful that they would lie to that school in general about who founded that team. Some of them were there. They're like, wait a minute, it's always just been her. We've asked. This is a professional, this is a place of business. This is a school, Why would they, try to ease in some stuff? It's like Mr. and Mrs. McGruder, they're so bitter. You know, they want to taint Shona's high school career. You know, her high school, what's the word? The time at her high school, you know. They want to taint that. They don't want her to, you know, oh, but we don't want you to have this ego anyway. So, you know, her junior year, they tried to squeeze in some information, but senior year, they went full blown and Shona got kicked off. But everybody knows that Shona Jackson was the only founder of Ann High School step team. So any lies that this man tries to say, you know, a lot of people gotta stick with the truth, and the truth shall come to light. But of course, Shona Jackson, even when she turned 35, she knew, oh no, you're not just gonna sit around and have people believing that that step team was founded by two people. Now you got all these people that were there, Shona's freshman and sophomore year, that were on the team. You want them to question as well, even junior year, you want them to question as well, who founded this team? Wait, why? You know, it shouldn't be any questions, but that's what can happen. When some bitter people get in the mix, they try to, oh, let's ease in some more captains. That way, when she gets older, you know, she'll know they're with her. She already has 2 years under her belt alone. We're gonna add some more in there so that at least when we get older, we'll know that we were able to tank that a little bit, so she don't have that big of an ego, or she don't have that big of a reputation at Ann High School. That's what the McGruders are. But no matter what, Shona Jackson is the one and only founder of Ann High School step team. See ya. Okay, so I guess I'm even more shocked that here Shona is in high school, and you know, we've seen all types of movies. So here Mr. and Mrs. McGruder are, you know, telling people that more than one person started the team. I mean, if Jasmine Pent was a founder of the team, that meant everybody Shona's freshman and sophomore year were founders of the team too. So everybody Shona's freshman and sophomore year knows the truth. They know that Shona's the only founder. So why, even junior year, because Shona was still the head captain, the one coaching the team by herself, right? So senior year, they, you know, the McGruders, Mr. and Mrs. McGruder, they decide to make Jasmine Pent a founder as well. However, you know, this is not an investigation. This is not an investigative movie. You know, this is real life. This is Ann High School. No one should, from freshman and sophomore year, who was there when Shona founded the team, should be talking to anybody 5 or 6, 7 years later, or even Shona's senior year. They shouldn't be talking to people, asking them, you know, wait a minute, who started the team? No, they know Shona did it alone. So when Mr. and Mrs. McGruder come along and get bitter the second year, they're the advisors. Now, you know, it's a little questionable. No one should have to question who founded the team. There's people that were there, and then now here they come bending the rules and deciding to list Jasmine Pent as a founder, and now you like it's raising questions. You like, this is that crazy stuff that we see in the movies. You know, Ann High School is not supposed to, you know, Ann High School is not supposed to be like those crazy movies where you see people just asking around, investigating, like, wait a minute, I knew that was true. I knew it was true. So why, now that I'm older, am I starting to question it? You like, this is something that shouldn't even be questioned. When we get older, we already have enough to, you know, think about, and, you know, stuff that we're going to question from the past. But this step team, Ann High School step team, shouldn't be one of them. It shouldn't be an investigation, Mr. and Mrs. McGruder. Jasmine Pent did not help start Ann High School step team. Shona Jackson did that alone. Hey, what's going on, everyone? I want to read a little page from my book, The Choreographer. Spoiler alert. Okay. I was hurt even more that never during the time I was coaching was there a step spectacular. But the year I was kicked off, they had one. I took it personally.